full can.
What's up, everybody? Honorado and Miller live from Common Roots Albany Outpost, former pump station for a lot of people who maybe still remember it that way, but it's been Common Roots for a little while now, and it is the launch party for the FireWolves Lager, cool partnership between one of the great local breweries in our area and, of course, the professional lacrosse team in town as well. Alfie's here, the head coach, general manager. Glenn Clark is here. We'll talk with him. We'll talk with Rich Wilson from Common Roots as well about this partnership, but it's the college football playoff, Ash, that obviously has our attention.
Yeah, it's been an interesting, we'll say. You were the one who said it's not better football, it's more football. And so far, you've been spot on.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't had a single game. Well, in the first round, we didn't have a single game that was fewer than 14-point difference, right? And then thankfully, Arizona State had some fight in it on New Year's Day to make of a game to force overtime, double overtime, in fact. And we had a blowout at the Rose Bowl. And now, obviously, we're doing this show live on a Thursday afternoon, evening, while Notre Dame and Georgia are playing in the Sugar Bowl. Let's get going here, live from Common Roots Albany Outpost.
This is Honorado and Miller, sponsored by Alpen House.
Alpen House, Marcella's, Bev's, Novice Performance Industrial with us every single week here as we go live from Common Roots Albany Outpost, the launch party of the FireWolves Lager, the NLL season a few weeks in. Ash, you've got the can there.
It's pretty cool.
Show that off.
We haven't tried it yet, but looking good.
Well, you know, for my money, locally, Common Roots does craft beer as well as anybody in the 518, and it's one of my favorite I've ever had, Common Roots IPAs, certainly. So happy to be here and supporting this. We'll talk with Glenn Clark, who's the general manager, head coach of the FireWolves. We'll talk with Rich Wilson from Common Roots as well. All right, but as the Notre Dame-Georgia game plays out here, let's, not ignore why they are almost 24 hours later than they were scheduled to play, and that is because of the terrorist attack in New Orleans, French Quarter. A man driving a truck into a crowd of people celebrating on New Year's Eve. It was about 2:15 Eastern that all this happened, and 15 people killed, 25 people at least injured. Those numbers have changed, and so again, as we do the show live, those numbers could change. Again, an awful situation. And this is a game that we expected to be low scoring anyway. Potentially, the fact that teams sat around unsure of when they would take the field again is at play here, because it's been a low scoring first half as well.
Yeah, and listen, we're still – there's a possibility. I never know which way to say it, lower or higher. I guess technically it's a lower seed. We've got a chance for all of the lower seeds technically to win, which I think is fascinating. And it was already going to change this format. It was already going to change, not next year, the year after. But if we get that, there's more of a chance that it's going to change as soon as possible.
Yeah, right. Like if Notre Dame beats Georgia, you will have none of the automatic qualifiers in terms of conference champions advancing into the semifinal round, winning even a single game. So let's see how this plays out between the Bulldogs and the Fighting Irish. But yes, it will further illuminate the fact that this system needs more than just tinkering. It needs to be reworked completely. And I think we have at least one more year of it like this, so prepare yourselves for that. But 2026, I agree, will look wildly different. And I think we'll even have 4 more teams. I think it'll be 16 instead of 12. Everybody plays. There are no buys.
I wonder, though, if you change it, if you make a change as drastic as no automatic qualify. An automatic qualifier in that you win your conference you're in, but you don't get a bye. You don't get the bye. You just then get re-ranked 1 through 12, and the first 4 still get a bye, but it's not necessarily a conference. I wonder if you do that and make that change, do you then also add 4 teams, or do you let it play out and see how it goes for year or two.
Listen, I'm good with just 12. I was good. Need more teams. I think schools will realize it was nice, but we don't want the bye. Look at how these teams are performing with a week off. We also want a home game because it's good for revenue.
Fans.
My guess is you go the full 16. Everybody, the top 8 seeds, play at home in the first round, and then maybe you move to bowl games after that. Maybe you play another round of games on campuses.
And listen, if you told me this was what I was signing up for, regardless of who gets in, Georgia or Notre Dame, I would have said, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Troy, look, this is what I've been saying. You only need 4, in my opinion, now, I could be proven wrong here, right?
Said Oregon would have been, and they're not in it.
Yep, and Ohio State may have been left out with 2 losses. And and the Buckeyes now look like maybe the best team in the country. We'll see if that continues against Texas. So my theory that you only needed 4 may be debunked already, but I don't know that you need more than 6 or 8.
Yeah.
Sam, Happy New Year to you. We did not do a show over Christmas week, so it's been a little while, but happy to be back at it here live from Common Roots Albany Outpost FireWolves Lager launch. And there's the beer right there. Good looking can.
Yeah.
Everybody here behind us to enjoy it, other than Alfie.
Haven't tasted it yet.
Has cracked one open and enjoyed one. We'll get a 4-pack maybe to take home out of the fridge. You can order it here at the bar. You can get it out of the 4-pack to go fridge. Come on down.
And it's $5, I think.
And there you go. Make a stop. And that's a good deal.
Yeah, not bad.
Really good deal. And this is why this place was always such a great option when you had concerts
Before
or games.
MVP.
And now that it is no longer Pump Station, it's Common Roots, it's still that great option to come down and have a drink or eat some dinner before you go to a show. Brian, Happy New Year to you, buddy. Always appreciate you jumping on the show here as well. Troy says conferences got too big. Yeah, conference play doesn't prove enough. You're right, because you can't play everybody in the conference. So, yeah.
And I think there's been talk about teams shying away from, big games and big games out of
Outside.
conference or even in conference playing. Like, you're not going to get an SEC team to go play Ohio State because they don't want to risk losing, and then that works against them when it comes to later in the season.
Yeah. Okay, let's look ahead to the semifinals here. Unless you want to go back and look back at one of the quarterfinal games here. What do you like? Ohio State, Texas. This is like a dream matchup. And we did say this. I forget who said it first, but somebody did say, hey, we're getting matchups, right, in these playoffs
that we never would have otherwise.
Yeah, right. Like some new stuff in that first round with SMU going to Penn State. And now you have the potential of a Georgia Penn State or Notre Dame Penn State, which is fun. And obviously you're already set up with the Buckeyes and the Longhorns in one of the semifinals. So, yes, it is in a way just more football, but I've been excited throughout about it. You know that. It's been like, hey, we got playoff games. I'm sitting on the couch watching.
And
not
a quarter in, it felt games until, Arizona State in the third quarter, which was great. But the rest it watched anyway. I don't know what that says about us.
Yeah. Blown call in the Arizona State game. A lot of people that today as we do on a Thursday. Probably changes the complexion of that game. But missed field goals and missed cues that nothing was guaranteed in that game.
Correct. And I think that's always the thing. Like, yes, it changes the complexion of that game because it gives Arizona State a much better chance to win. They're put in a much better position, but they still have to go win it. And who knows what would have happened when that was all said and done.
Yeah. Who do you like early on here, Ohio State and Texas?
I mean, for me, Ohio State looks like the best team in the country right now. What they did to Oregon, the score wasn't as close, even ending up as close as that game was. It wasn't close at all. They just came out, and I mean, we were stunned. The game, as good as that game was earlier in the season, a 1-point game, for them to come out and do what they did, woo, crazy.
Sam says Ohio State, Penn State in the title game on the 20th. We'll see. I'm with you. The Buckeyes look like the best team in the country. I said it a few times during the regular season and was wrong when I said Ohio State has a monster game in it. Mm-hmm. They're way too good to be playing this way. It didn't show up really until New Year's Day. I mean, even that first round game, like, it just didn't feel exactly like the dominant team they were going to be, even though they beat up Tennessee pretty good.
Yeah.
Wednesday was unbelievable. And so I'm with you. But I can't wait to – Ohio State's got two really good running backs in Henderson and Judkins. Texas has arguably the best defensive line in terms of stopping the run. But you're right. Jeremiah Smith maybe is the best receiver in the whole country.
And we saw the big playability from Texas, but then it went away. I mean, they were up 14-0. One was a punt return.
Right.
They have big playability, but they didn't really wow you after that first quarter. So I think it's Ohio State, and I don't know. I think it's going to be a 2-touchdown game.
Woohoo! Okay, I don't have an early spread on that, but I will give it a look when we have a commercial break here. And speaking of that, let's take a quick commercial break. On the other side, we'll talk with Albany FireWolves general manager and head coach Glenn Clark. We'll look ahead to Week 18 in the NFL. We've got our picks. And the key guys sitting this week out, specifically Saquon Barkley, only 101 yards shy of breaking the NFL single-season rushing record. That's hard for me to accept.
Tough.
Saquon's been better about it than I would have been. I
Is.
would have been chasing history. I know the Super Bowl is the priority here. But, man, I would love to have that record, especially considering he could do it against the Giants. We'll talk about that, and we'll talk about whether or not Sunday will be Aaron Rodgers' final game as an NFL quarterback. We're back in a minute, live from Common Roots Albany Outpost.
The biggest RV event of the year is here. It's time for the Saratoga City Center RV Show. Come out January 3rd through the 5th to get an early look at the latest in trailers and motorhomes, and bring the whole family because admission is free. You won't believe these show-only specials with huge savings on travel trailers, fifth wheels, and motorhomes. Don't miss this chance to take advantage of lower interest rates, special financing, and top dollar for your trade. Make this your year to hit the open road.
I'm Jeff Ukelek. I'm owner of Bev's, and we're a beverage center in upstate New York. You're just going to have that wow component when you come in, like, wow, look at this place. It's bright, it's clean, it has everything that I need. Consumer is king. Be able to provide them a friendly environment and a place to shop, no matter where they are, whether they're down here in Saratoga or whether they're up in Queensbury. You're always going to get the same experience when you shop at Bev's. At the end of the day, if you walk in your stores, you're going to see a lot of people that have a lot of pride.
And now, back to Honorado and Miller. Sponsored by Alphen House.
All right, back live now at Common Roots Albany Outpost, and joined by the FireWolves general manager and head coach Glenn Clark. You've got the FireWolves lager with you. How is it?
It's really good. Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised. I certainly will put into my post-game ritual.
And not that you were in the lab brewing this, but when your marketing team or front office comes to you and says, hey, we're doing a partnership with Common Roots for our FireWolves beer, what was your reaction?
I mean, great. I mean, anything we can do to promote the product, right? So you get your logo attached to a beer. It's a good thing. So pretty excited. And this is a beautiful place. I've never been here before, so it's a great venue, and it's nice and close to the arena. It's fantastic.
What's better than beer and sports? I mean, they generally go hand in hand for a lot of people, us included, when we're not, working the games or coaching the games.
Yeah.
After the game, while you're at a game, that's nothing better.
Yeah, and you can get this at the arena, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And obviously you can get it here at Common Roots Albany Outpost as well. It's in the 4-pack to-go fridge. It's behind the bar as well. All right, let's talk about the game on Saturday night. It's a really important game because you'd love to get one in the win column here again. But we're also, supporting a great cause in Tucker Out Lymphoma, Box Out Cancer. And there's a documentary people should be looking for on YouTube as well. Specific to the cause, though, with now Dyson Williams on the team, how much more personal does this feel?
I mean, it is, our job is to focus on the game and what we need to do, but it's really hard not to get wrapped up in the significance of what this game is. And when you've got Tucker Williams, and if people don't know the story, they can watch but Dyson's younger brother unfortunately passed cancer. We're playing against his dad. The proceeds were fundraising towards cancer research and awareness. So it's just, there's so much wrapped up in this game, and it's such a significant initiative by the league and by us, and now with the Tucker Cup with Buffalo. I mean, it's a great cause, and sports is supposed to be about promoting wellness and community and all that kind of stuff, and it certainly checks all the boxes.
For those people who don't know, you go way, way back with the Williams. Grew up in the same town as Sean Williams, who's the Vegas head coach. You basically have known, you saw Dyson be born, you saw Tucker be born. Can you just kind of explain your relationship with Sean and why you have a little more skin in the game? Just, these are your friends.
Yeah, Sean's a little younger than me, but we went to the same high school together, and we've played, a minor, pro, the national. So I played with Sean for a long time, and known the family. And I was, in fact, as you mentioned, I was playing with Sean when Dyson was born. So have known the family, and not only Sean and his wife Tamara, but Sean's parents and, the whole Dyson clan, or the down here this weekend. So it was such a tragedy with Tucker, kind of turned into a legacy piece that's attached to it, and much through the game. Tucker Lymphoma Initiative is fantastic.
Ash is the sideline reporter for the FireWolves at home game, so I'll let her kind of handle more of the game stuff here, but I'll just ask you about the importance of winning, yes, but maybe, look, not that there are moral victories. I won't put words in your mouth, but the importance of seeing your team finish a game the way you'd like them to.
Yeah, and I mean, you guys have done it long enough. The NLL is a cruel league, and we were on the right side of some of these games last year.
And how many times do we say last year? I mean, literally every single week. It feels like the NFL in a lot of ways, where like any week, some team could surprise you and win one.
Yeah, and the reality is we've played well enough to be 4-0. We're 1-3. We've had a couple little hiccups, and we haven't been as lucky with injuries as we were last year, and it's not an excuse, but it's a reality, right? Injuries impact results, and we were very lucky last year. So we're getting some guys back for this weekend. We made the signing of Callum Crawford, which was a piece that I have been looking for since the offseason. We knew we needed a veteran offensive guy, somebody to insulate some of our younger guys. They're excited about it. He's excited for the opportunity and the runway he's going to get with us to kind of reinvigorate himself. So we're excited about the chance to compete, and it's going to be a good contest like all of them. But we're both kind of desperate teams, so it's going to be there won't be anything left on the turf, that's for sure.
Coach, I know Callum Crawford brings the average age up a bit because he's one of the veteran guys, and this team is so young. Give me the stat that we talked about on the call the other day. This is a wild stat.
Yeah, I wasn't even aware of this, that Callum's career points exceed the cumulative career points of my whole roster. So Callum has got more points than 20 other players on our team, which I mean is a crazy stat, but it also reinforces, when we talk about how young our group is, and it also reinforces how badly we need a piece like that, where, you can see it in our offensive guys at times, like they're struggling, and they're trying to navigate this league in real time. So I think he's going to be a nice breath of fresh air. He's going to give them a little bit of insulation, a little cover fire when things get a little tough, that he's been there, done that, and hopefully can manage some of our struggles on the offensive end.
How have these guys been responding to these struggles at the end of games in particular, right? Like, you've got one of the best goalies in the league in Dougie Jamieson. Have you sensed or have you seen any frustration after games immediately? You don't get a lot of time with these guys during the week.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they're prideful, right? They want to deliver for the community, the team, everything else. So they wear it. And part of what the job I've been doing lately is trying to bring them up and, put perspective on it. I mean, it's not a situation to beat on them. They know, they lived it. They knew what happened. They feel it more than any of us. Right?
You don't have to scream at somebody giving up 10 unanswered goal. Yeah.
Like it's state obvious, right? So, they feel it. They wear it. They're prideful. They're pros, and they want to do better. Part of our job is to, by doing things like this, is to, maybe facilitate that a little better for them. And, it's not a math problem. It doesn't mean because we get Callum we're going to win, but it helps, navigate that landscape a little better.
We talked about this on the call, Coach, and so many people are quick to see that 10-0 run and say, well, the defense gave up 10 goals straight. Dougie gave up 10 goals straight. But you would say, hold on a second, I'm putting this on my O guys, because at some point you got to score to snap that streak.
Well, that's the only way to break a run is by scoring. So it was really like an 8-goal run. They got 2 empty netters. But the reality is, they scored 10 in a row. And everyone, the reflex is, well, you're D. But the reality is, how do you break up a run? Right. You score a goal. Yeah. So, we were in a 9-3 lead. Even when they went that on that 8-goal run, it was still 11-9, a very manageable part of the game.
There he is.
And
Alfie's had one too many lagers, I think.
He's got to get out of the jug. And then we score a couple goals and it changes the outcome. Yep. So it's easy to look at it and go, oh, your D gave up 8 in a row, but you break a run by scoring goals, and we didn't score goals. So that's the reality of it.
Saturday night, 7:00, Vegas at Albany. Tucker out lymphoma, box out cancer. Ash, always a final word if you want one.
Important game. I mean, listen, we talked about everything else aside, you look at these records and both teams need a win. So regardless of who's on the field, who's on the bench coaching, these are 2 teams that are going to go get after it because these guys are prideful.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it's going to be a good competition, and it's always entertaining, right? It's always it gives you every element to sport, and that's why we love it.
Does the coaches' room get stocked with these for post game? Is that?
I'll put it.
Is that in your contract?
So.
Yeah.
It's on the contract. Right? I wouldn't mind a nice lager after hopefully a win.
A win, yeah, exactly. All right, Clarky, thank you, man. Good to see you as always, buddy. Glenn Clark, the general manager. The show behind the scenes. Ash standing on a milk crate. Yeah. We're back right after this on Honorado and Miller, live from Common Roots Albany Outpost.
I'm Jeff Ukelek. I'm owner of Bevs, and we're a beverage center in upstate New York. You're just going to have that wow component when you come in, like, wow, look at this place. It's bright, it's clean, it has everything that I need. Consumer is king. Be able to provide them a friendly environment and a place to shop, no matter where they are, whether they're down here in Saratoga or whether they're up in Queensbury. You're always going to get the same experience when you shop at Bevs. At the end of the day, if you walk in your stores, you're going to see a lot of people that have a lot of pride.
The great thing about Novice is no matter who you are, they're going to put all the detail in the world into your brand. I feel like they have been a big part of my success, making me feel comfortable. This is Harrison Butker, Super Bowl champion kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs. Claim your crown.
And now, back to Honorado and Miller. Sponsored by Alpine House.
Alpine House, Performance Industrial, Novice, Bevs, and Marcella's. Always good to catch up with Glenn Clark of the FireWolves. Such a good dude. And again, we are live from Common Roots Albany, downtown Albany station. Remember it that way. All right, Ash, let's get to what's happening Sunday. Week 18, there's not a in terms of the playoff picture. Every seed playoff spot has been determined. The seeds could just a bit because we get Lions Vikings Sunday. It'll be a lot of fun. The winner of that game wins the NFC North and gets the number 1 overall seed. The Commanders and Packers could also flip, I believe. And then we're waiting on the NFC South as well, the Falcons and the Buccaneers. So some stuff to figure out in the NFC. The AFC is set with the exception of the AFC a wild card spot there. Denver, Cincinnati, and Miami still in play for that. Okay. This has been up on the screen as I've rambled for a little bit here, and I just think it's the most interesting talking point of Week 18. Saquon Barkley has an opportunity to break the single-season rushing record held by Eric Dickerson. He only needs 101 yards, which feels like easy for him this year. That's an easy day,
yeah.
And Nick Sirianni says, you're not playing. What do you think?
Listen, I get it. You talked about it like you go break your leg or tear up a knee. Anything happens in that game, and you never forgive yourself because all you care about is a Super Bowl run. And Saquon Barkley, for my money, is one of the most professional players in the NFL. He always has been. When they were going through all that stuff last year, the negotiations, they didn't want to give him the money. He always said the right things. Roger and I were there the day that all that news broke, and he just couldn't have been better about it. He couldn't have been better. So for me, like, I love the guy. I wish he was playing because I almost wish he would just take care of the Giants, who aren't even good at being bad, and go out and win the game, and then give them a bad taste in their mouth for not re-signing him. I understand not re-signing him. I get it. He should be more in the MVP conversation than he is. Yeah. The season he has had has been phenomenal, and he's just a good dude. He says all the right things.
And to your point about the Giants, like, I would love to see him do it
against the Giants,
or attempt to do it against the Giants, right? That would be fun. Troy points out here, yes, like the record was 16 with Dickerson. This was 84. They were playing 16 games back then, I'm pretty sure. And instead of 14, I think that's right. But this is in every, right? No season is being truncated. It's only being expanded. So the records, which will change and be affected, will be done in more games than not. And that's just going to be the way it is going forward. Spearsy, Happy New Year's to you. Yes. Good to see you, buddy. We're catching up on Notre Dame, Georgia. I'm not going to do a play-by-play here as we do the show live on a Thursday and people find it over the weekend on TV. But that game has been low scoring, and it's at the half with the Irish leading by 10. Okay, Sam made a point here, and he led me to this, so let's just do it.
And now, Dirty, Difficult, and Done. Sponsored by Performance Industrial.
Great crew at Performance Industrial led by Bill Miller. And we love having it as part of the show here every single week. All right, so Sam says, please, Lord. I go capital L, but to each their own. let this be Rodgers' last game in a Jet. And I think what's
it will be
maybe more interesting than that, like a guarantee that'll be his last in a Jets jersey. The question is, and I admit here, I like it to be a statement, but will Aaron Rodgers be done after Sunday's game? Will it be the end of his NFL career? He has said it's possible, and I think it's possible only because there may not be real interest in Aaron Rodgers after this year. I think if a team wants him, I think he will continue to play. 500 touchdown passes in his career. He could be chasing Favre's number maybe to put him above Brett in terms of NFL legacy. And so I think if a team like Vegas, because again, we could go one by one here in terms of teams and their quarterback needs. I don't know that there are a lot of landing spots for Rodgers potentially. The Vegas would be one. But are you going to draft a quarterback in the top 3 or 4 and sign Aaron Rodgers? No, because I don't think a lot of teams view him as a good mentor for a young quarterback. So again, Ash, I just don't know that there are a lot of teams out there that see a need for Aaron Rodgers. And so as much as he may make it seem like he's walking away, the league may in effect be telling him it's time to go.
Yeah. Here's the deal. I think you're right in that I think he's only he won't go out on his own. He's only done if no one wants his services. If no one's going to sign him to a contract. My guess is he's also just not going to be a backup. Like if he doesn't go and win a job, he's going to be like, "See ya, I'm out." But yeah, if I'm another team and see what he did this year, I don't want it, and I also just don't want the attitude. I can't with him. I can't.
Have not yet watched the Netflix doc Enigma. I will. Rodgers is heavily involved in the documentary, so take that for what it's worth. But again, if the Jets don't want him back,
they won't.
They won't, huh?
No.
Okay. If the Jets don't want him back, then
I don't know who's playing quarterback.
Again, there just aren't a lot of spots for him. You'd have teams like a Jacksonville moving on from Trevor Lawrence, but they just gave him a monster deal. Who else signs Aaron Rodgers? It feels like the Jets.
The Jets will overreach on a non-first round QB.
If Sam Darnold doesn't re-sign with the Vikings, if
Right,
Minnesota says, hey, we're not going to re-sign you, now I think they'll franchise tag him is my guess, or maybe they work out a short-term 3-4 year deal with the money front-loaded so J.J. McCarthy can come in on the back end of that and play. Teams would rather have Sam Darnold than Aaron Rodgers, no?
Yes, 100%. But I don't think that team is the Jets because I don't think Sam Darnold wants back in the Jets. It's going to be a been there, done that. Like,
Troy's saying someone will sign him. I don't know. Yes, Tampa is in love with Baker Mayfield, and they should be. Baker has played really well for the Bucs. That was working out, and I think ultimately they're going to make the playoffs again here, Troy. So I don't see them moving on from Baker having just given him a contract.
And I think the Vikings do love. The problem becomes if you is the franchise quarterback, are you giving Darnold the money that he's going to earn on the free market? Because someone is going to have money to be their starting quarterback.
Yeah, and I'm with you.
But
Even if the Vikings don't love Darnold, I think they say, hey, we like J.J. McCarthy enough to go to him. So, okay, here we go. All right, we've got our picks coming up here. We'll take another break here on Honorado and Miller. When we come back, we're going to talk with Rich Wilson from Common Roots. But again, we still have our Week 18 NFL picks to come. LeBron James has turned 40 years old. Wait until you hear how long he thinks he could continue to play. He's the NBA's version of Tom Brady, and nothing with that guy would surprise me at this point. We're back in a minute on Honorado and Miller.
At Marcella's Appliance Center, our commitment is to you, providing essential appliances that families depend on for cooking, refrigeration, cleaning, and sanitation, plus appliance repair. You can have peace of mind that Marcella's is here for you today and every day, like we have been since 1957, helping you make the right choice with trusted brands like Whirlpool, Maytag, KitchenAid, and many more. Shop Marcella's Appliance Center in-store, online, or by phone. We're here for you.
The biggest RV event of the year is here. It's time for the Saratoga City Center RV Show. Come out January 3rd through the 5th to get an early look at the latest in trailers and motorhomes, and bring the whole family because admission is free. You won't believe these show-only specials with huge savings on travel trailers, fifth wheels, and motorhomes. Don't miss this chance to take advantage of lower interest rates, special financing, and top dollar for your trade. Make this your year to hit the open road.
And now, back to Honorado and Miller. Sponsored by Albany House.
And back at Common Roots Albany Outpost, downtown Albany. Great spot to come for dinner, for a beer, and especially if you're going somewhere downtown, the Palace or MVP Arena for a game or a show. Stop in here before you do that. And
now I feel bad because I make Rich look really short. He's not this short.
Yeah, I'm right. Tall. Yeah, so, this is kind of what we've got going on here. Ashley on a box.
Very safe.
Yeah.
We made it secure.
Yeah.
You hooked me up with.
Right, so technically it really is kind of maybe Rich's fault that he gave you the boost here.
No,
anyway.
I'm fine being short in the middle. It makes sense.
Anyway, we're here on a special night because it is the Albany FireWolves Lager launch party. Rich Wilson is our guest now, Director of Food, Beverage, and Taproom Operations. Rich, thank you, man. It's good to see you in person.
Yeah, our pleasure to have you all here.
We're happy to be here. Yeah, thank you for hosting. And let's talk about this partnership here between the FireWolves and Common Roots. I know that Saratoga Eagle, which is your distributor, right, has been a supporter of the Albany FireWolves. And now here you guys come in with a specially branded lager, which is very cool, which we've been showing here all show long. How did this happen?
I was approached by Chris with like-minded organizations that value teamwork and community building. It seemed like a really logical partnership. We're coming up on a year of operating here in downtown Albany at our Albany Outpost, formerly the Albany Pump Station. And we just want to become a bigger and bigger part of this Albany community, continue to grow our community built on beer, and FireWolves are a great partner for us to do that.
And that's Chris Parecka. He's the president of the Albany FireWolves.
I don't know anything about beer, but who makes the decisions on what it tastes like, what goes into it, how you brew it?
Yeah, so we are fortunate to have a lot of people who know a lot about beer and love to talk about beer. So we have a creative production team that, in terms of new styles, new labels, how beers will be fully realized. We have a lot of very passionate people who work on that collectively. The FireWolves Lager is a beer that's made for drinking. If you're doing something and you're being social and you need a long time to be social with, it's great. It's low ABV. It's really thirst quenching. It's super food friendly. So yeah, if you're coming here for a pre-game dinner and drinks, it's easy to drink a few of them. We'll be doing $5 can specials on all home game days here at the Outpost. And then I know they're going to have some really great pricing on it over at the arena as well. So people will be able to responsibly continue to enjoy.
Yep. How has the downtown Albany experience gone? It's a beautiful space. You redid it completely for anybody who is maybe familiar with the pump station. And obviously it's all Common Roots beer here as well, yes. Same as in South Glens Falls. This is a little bit of, I'll say, just of an outreach, right? Any company that says, hey, we're gonna take our brand to a whole nother town. There's a lot that goes into that. You said it's already been a year. I can't believe it's been that long. How's it going?
It's been really, really great. We are fortunate that, our community that we've built over the past 10 years, we just celebrated 10 years last week. We are really, truly the capital region, right? A lot of people that work in Albany every day live up in Saratoga County in the South Glens Falls area. We are incredibly blessed that we have regulars who patronize us in South Glens Falls who may work down here, and we'll get them for lunch up here and for dinner up there. And that's truly humbling, and just that amount of brand support that we've been so fortunate to have really has carried us into downtown Albany. And to your point from earlier, it's great because we have that many more people from outside of our immediate region who come to downtown for a show or a game, and we're just happy to be a part of that.
Well, we love the fire pits and the red Adirondack chairs up in South Glens Falls, and I love the beer. We always have some kind of Common Roots beer at home in our fridge. So that's a go-to for us every single time we're just hanging around watching sports.
I mean, I don't drink IPAs, and I can still find something.
Sours.
I love all kinds of things, and I can still find something at Common Roots. How about the food experience? You're in charge of food and tap room, so what can people expect? It's different, certainly, than up in South Glens Falls.
Actually, no. Our menus here and in South Glens Falls are mirrored. That's okay. That's what this is about, is letting people know. Yeah. But so it is the same menu, and we're thankful to be able to feature some of the same local producers for some of our specialty products in both places. Both this building and that building still have a ton of local partners that are all within a 50-mile radius. So from where our pork and our beef are raised to our cheese curds that we use on our poutine, all of that is the same. That being said, we have two exceptional culinary teams, and so we do let them run their own specials and always look forward to something off menu that will be different between the spaces. But otherwise, it's the same spicy chicken sandwiches love from South Glens Falls.
And the pizzas are so good.
And the same pizza. Yep.
Well, this is fun. 4-packs are in the to-go fridge. You can also get them at the bar. That is an Albany FireWolves lager launching here live on Honorado and News Channel 15. Rich, thank you, man.
Thank you so much. Our pleasure.
Good luck. Good luck with this. We'll be taking a 4-pack home for sure. All right, let's take a break here on Honorado and Miller. When we come back, we've got our Week 18 NFL picks. We are back in a minute, live from Common Roots Albany Outpost.
At Marcella's Appliance Center, our commitment is to you, providing essential appliances that families depend on for cooking, refrigeration, cleaning, and sanitation, plus appliance repair. You can have peace of mind that Marcella's is here for you today and every day, like we have been since 1957, helping you make the right choice with trusted brands like Whirlpool, Maytag, KitchenAid, and many more. Shop Marcella's Appliance Center in-store, online, or by phone. We're here for you.
The great thing about novices, no matter who you are, they're going to put all the detail in the world into your brand. I feel like they have been a big part of my success, making me feel comfortable. This is Harrison Butker, Super Bowl champion kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs. Claim your crown.
And now, back to Honorado and Miller. Sponsored by Alphen House.
Back live now, and just saying goodbye to Rich there. Didn't want to cut him off. He was telling us a little bit about how long he's been with Common Roots, and it's a family operation, father, son, the Webbers. It's really cool, and a lot of people in the Capital Region know the story of the fire. that they went through and rebuilt, and
bigger and better.
It's incredible.
Amazing.
The place up in South Glens Falls is awesome.
This,
and obviously
the
it's beautiful.
space here is enormous.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind a TV if I'm being picky, but
put in a request.
Well, I don't think I have that kind of pull. But I know some places don't want. Hey, we don't want to be a sports bar.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. I'm just unfortunately too much of a sports
fan.
person. Yeah, exactly. We got a couple of Happy New Years. I love that. Happy New Year to John. And hi.
Hi, Lexi.
Hi, Lexi. All right, let's get into our Week 18 picks here. How we doing? We got about another 15 minutes to go on the show. We did not pick games over Christmas week. Here are the records. I was 3-3 in Week 16.
Okay.
I guess technically that included some of the college football playoff games.
Yep.
You were 2-4. You still have a very strong record at 47-38.
You're coming.
I am just focused on hanging on to being over 500. Alfie, good to see you, man. Have you had any of the beer? No. You're driving. Good man. Yep. Responsible mascotting. Way to go.
But people should come to the gate. Come here to get the beer. Come to the game Saturday to get the beer.
There you go.
Yes.
Yeah. We need a big one on Saturday, Alfie. Bring the crowd. All right.
Says go FireWolves.
Yep. Love it. Tickets, AlbanyFireWolves.com for that game on Saturday. All right. So those are the records. Here are the games. Huge one. Saturday, Bengals, Steelers. Cincy needs this and then some help to get into the playoffs, but it starts with trying to beat Pittsburgh at Pittsburgh. Cincy's a favorite. Steelers don't have much point. We like the Bengals.
Yeah, listen, Cincinnati to win number one on the list is check off the win, and then you worry about everything that. But they have something to play for. Pittsburgh does not. And despite the fact that he won't win, they're not good enough. Bengals for me. Easy.
Yeah, same. And they're just playing at such a high of needing that game. And the decline of the Steelers' offense in particular can be Cincinnati to cover that 1.5. All right, Panthers at the Falcons. This is 8.5, and it was enough for me to say I'm going to take the Panthers here. I think the Falcons win. Michael Penix is playing well to start his career, but I think Carolina finds a way after a dud last week. Final game of the year for this team that has shown a little bit of a surge late to keep this thing close in Atlanta.
For me, the number scared me a little bit, but I think as Penix gets more games under his belt and starts to just kind of develop a chemistry with Drake London and the other guys who he's throwing the ball, handing the ball off to, I think there's something to be proven in Atlanta. Like, no, we have the tools, we just need the quarterback. So that's why I'm going. And like you said, Carolina, a dud last week. There have been many of them.
Yeah, right. Like maybe that's more of who they are than the close game against Kansas City, and they play Philadelphia tight as well. Bryce Young has shown at least he's maybe capable of being a starter in this league. That would be nice. And as we know with Atlanta too, one more note on that game is that the Falcons have already said, and this has been reported, that they are going to cut Kirk Cousins before a roster bonus is due in March. And so
he's also
Cousins will be on the street.
And that's the thing. It's like, I'm taking him over Aaron Rodgers. I'm not going to pay. The problem is does he think he's a $35-40 million man? Because he's not going to get that.
The advantage is like Cousins could kind of be the same setup as Russell Wilson, where Cousins is already getting paid so much money. You can bring him in at the veterans minimum.
Yeah. And that would be smart for a team.
I would take Rodgers over Cousins if I'm a team that is capable of contending. I would rather have Rodgers. Cousins was never as talented as Rodgers.
No.
And so they're both dealing with the same comeback from injury. Yes, Aaron is significantly older, 5-6 years. But I would rather have the talent, the given talent of Rodgers than what Cousins is working with. All right.
I get it. But at least Cousins has shown
he's a better teammate.
He's 150 times a better teammate. That's number one. He's going to be a better mentor for anyone you bring in or have on that roster as a young QB. He's also shown this season that he has played well at times. Aaron Rodgers has not played well basically at all.
Giants need a quarterback. Would you consider Kirk Cousins?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Because you just said it. You could bring him in for basically the veterans minimum.
Yeah.
You could still almost draft a quarterback if you felt like, hey, in the second or third round, bring him in. Cousins is going to start. You're going to develop a young guy. Who better to learn from? What better teammate than Kirk? I'll take that guy every day of the week.
Okay. Saints at the Buccaneers here. Big number, 12.5. Tampa needs a win. And we both say they'll win by at least 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I don't love the number, but when you have something to play for me, that's all you need.
And Tampa's good. I mean, save for that Sunday night loss at Dallas. This is a good football team, and
they're not even healthy.
And you've heard people say it, right? I mean, you know Chris Godwin,
yep.
And you've heard people say it certainly before we're doing it now here. Tampa is. I would not love to go if I'm a wild card team. If I'm the 5.
I saw it last year.
I don't.
Philly?
I mean, I don't like the idea of on the road at Tampa or on the road at the Rams. I think both are good teams. And so as a Packers fan, I don't right now that they're going to Philly, Green Bay, and I don't love that either. That's not an easy place to go win in the first round of a playoff game. Dolphins and Jets here. It could be Aaron Rodgers' final game.
Yeah.
The Dolphins need to win.
Yep.
No Tua, Tyler Huntley. If Cincy wins Saturday, Miami will be looking at needing to win in order to try to get into the playoffs here, but it's not perfect for them because I think they need to win and get a little bit of help from Denver, and Kansas City's not playing a lot of guys. We'll get to that. But Miami here needing a win at the Jets. Boy, what a way for Rodgers to go out here. What, they'd be 4-13? Yikes.
Yeah, for me, it's, again, a team that has something to play for, and a Jets team that feels like things are just kind of unraveling. And if I'm Aaron Rodgers, do you even want to play at this point? Like just make it end, please.
Yeah. All right. So we'll take Miami here. And considering how cold it's going to be,
I know,
probably better that it's Huntley and not Tua if you buy into those stats.
I know. And the stats are what they are. But
Yeah. Okay. Fifth game of the weekend for us, Chiefs and Broncos. This number jumped a bit. There was speculation that Mahomes wouldn't play and some other key guys for Kansas City. So it didn't move. It wasn't a huge jump, but it's still 10.5 as reaction to the news that Mahomes will not play. And Andy Reid said on top of other significant key players for us. So we both say,
I know,
hey, we'll take the Chiefs.
Yeah, just to cover that number. I mean, listen, we just talked about teams having something to play for. The Broncos certainly have something to play for potentially. Yeah. But it's the Chiefs, and even against the Chiefs backups, I think 11 points, nearly 10.5 is a lot. It's a lot to ask. I wouldn't be surprised if the Broncos win.
Right.
I just don't think it's going to be by 11 points or more.
Right. I feel the same way. Like, I'll take those points and take my chances with a 2-score cushion. Vikings and Lions were different here, which is fun. Sunday night, News Channel 13, NBC. Again, the winner of this one is the top overall seed in the NFC, having won the NFC North at what would be a 15-2 record. Incredible. The idea that it could be Minnesota is unbelievable, right? That you have Sam Darnold. You lose Danielle Hunter, their pass rusher, who went to Houston. The addition of Aaron Jones, you thought, okay, that's nice. He's a good player. He's a very good player, but he's had a terrific season. It has just worked really well for Minnesota that a lot of people did not see coming. I didn't have them as a playoff team at the beginning of the year, and they might be the top overall seed here. So if the path through the NFC to the Super Bowl has to go through, that's a difficult road environment to play in. You like the Vikings here. Why?
Yeah. I mean, for me, this is a toss-up. They're playing like two of the best teams in the league right now anyway. I love Justin Jefferson. That's not to say that Jared Goff doesn't have weapons, because he does. I made this argument the other day, and I was not a believer in Sam Darnold. Kirk Cousins is now doing, and neither of them was a quarterback in this league. Kirk was with the Vikings and now is not even starting in Atlanta. So my thought process was, how much of it is what the Vikings have built around the quarterback position that has allowed them to be so successful? I just think it doesn't matter who the quarterback is or hasn't in the last few years. They're successful no matter what. So I just think they have a really good thing going on all three sides of the ball, offense, defense, special teams, I'm not going to be shocked if the Lions win. The Lions have put up 45, 50 points at times this year. This game, to me, is the most fun game of the weekend, and teams are playing for something still, obviously seeding.
Right, and should be high scoring. Yep. I'm on Detroit here because they've been the best team in the NFC all year. They've endured injuries, specifically to the defensive side of the ball, and still won games. So I think a high-scoring game, Detroit finds a way to win by at least a field goal, and it may be a full touchdown at the end of it all. But that's a fun game. I wish I could watch it. You all know why I'm not able to be up that late watching. Okay, so here are our picks. Both on the Bengals. I like the Panthers. Ash likes the Falcons. Both on the Bucks. Both on the Dolphins. Both on the Chiefs. And then I like Detroit, and Ash likes Minnesota. Okay, not our final week of picking games, but a final week really kind of picking as many as 6 games, I would say, right? All right, we're checking in on Notre Dame and Georgia as well. Your dad is updating us. He's got it as a 20-3 game for Notre Dame. Haven't checked since he made that last comment. Neil, Happy New Year to you, buddy. Yeah, miss seeing you on a Monday night Trivia up Mondays. At West Side Bar and Grill in Saratoga Springs. I've talked to the owner there, Dave Harmon. I said, I will get back. I want to see some of the
Just
people.
For a Monday?
It's been a while. Not to do trivia. They're doing a great job without me, and I'm glad. But I will want to get back and just see some people and say hello. I'll do that soon. All right, let's take a break here on Honorado and Miller. When we come back live from Common Roots Albany Outpost, LeBron James celebrates his 40th birthday by saying he could play maybe as nearly the numbers he threw out, half a decade, close to another decade. The guy's insane. And when you watch him go crashing through the lane to throw one down, you kind of think to yourself,
yeah, maybe.
That's not a 40-year-old, and he could probably do this for as long as he's saying. We'll talk about that next year on Honorado and Miller.
At Marcella's Appliance Center, our commitment is to you, providing essential appliances that families depend on for cooking, refrigeration, cleaning, and sanitation, plus appliance repair. You can have peace of mind that Marcella's is here for you today and every day, like we have been since 1957, helping you make the right choice with trusted brands like Whirlpool, Maytag, KitchenAid, and many more. Shop Marcella's Appliance Center in-store, online, or by phone. We're here for you.
The biggest RV event of the year is here. It's time for the Saratoga City Center RV Show. Come out January 3rd through the 5th to get an early look at the latest in trailers and motorhomes, and bring the whole family because admission is free. You won't believe these show-only specials with huge savings on travel trailers, fifth wheels, and motorhomes. Don't miss this chance to take advantage of lower interest rates, special financing, and top dollar for your trade. Make this your year to hit the open road.
And now, back to Honorado and Miller. Sponsored by Alphen House.
And a big thanks and shout out, as always, to our local business partners here on the show, Honorado and Miller. Brian dug it up for us. Buckeyes favored by 6.5. So they're the favorites, 6.5 over Texas. You said you think it could be a 2-touchdown game in Ohio State's favor. Okay, so that number doesn't surprise you.
No, it doesn't surprise me.
Okay. LeBron James turned 40 years old. He, on that birthday, I believe this was on his 40th birthday, he said to the media he thinks he could play another 5 to 7 years. He didn't say he would or was thinking about playing another 5 to 7, but he said,
it was kind of like if I had to.
Like if he had to support his family more, I could play another 5 to 7.
My guess is like 3.
I don't even know that he goes that mad. It feels to me like 1 or 2 more for LeBron, and then that would be it.
You can't say that and then go 1 more.
Well, I don't know that Tom Brady said he would be like, oh, I could play until I'm 45 or 46, and then he did that. It feels like Brady played a shorter amount of time than what he maybe projected, and that feels, I don't know. I mean, but this is LeBron just being
LeBron,
like getting the attention that we're giving him here. Like, I could play another 5 to 7 years because then everybody goes, really? Wow, okay.
We're still going to call him a top 10 player. Top 12 player. Top 10. He's a top 10 player at 40 years old. So, like, how long does it take him to decline beyond a top 50 player? Because as a top 50 player, you still have a spot in this league. So for me, it's going to take you quite a few years to go from top 10 to top 50. I know it happens. It doesn't happen like in a flash, but it happens quickly because a 42-year-old playing against a 19-year-old or 21-year-old is not easy.
What he hasn't had, though, right, which is what like Kobe had. Jordan just retired young. Kobe had the Achilles, and then it looked like he was a guy who was coming off a little bit later, off an Achilles, playing a sport like that. LeBron has not had that.
But part of that is what he does. Listen, I know part of the Kobe thing, like part of it's bad luck, how you step, whatever. But part of it is the way he takes care of himself. I mean, he doesn't look like a 40-year-old. He's not out there running slow and tearing muscles, and he has not been the guy that has missed significant time because he's been hurt.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. And, he's been not so much as Kawhi. Kawhi's the poster child of load management and has still gotten injured.
Yep.
LeBron has used load management to a significant advantage for him to stay healthy.
And it's worked.
It has worked, yeah. All right, we're live at Common Roots Albany Outpost for the Albany FireWolves Lager launch party. I've never looked so good. Right?
You look like an angry Alfie.
And the beer is here in the tap room. It will debut at MVP Arena this Saturday. And it's a special game because it is Tucker out. Can't something that the Fire right for a while now. Tucker out lymphoma come in because of Sean Williams, the head coach of Las Vegas. Yep. And now Dyson here, the number 1 overall pick in Albany.
They'll debut. So
pretty cool looking too.
The story behind this is that for a long time now, maybe 8 years, Dyson has designed the jerseys for the Tucker Out Lymphoma game. And that was when he was at Duke. Before he was at Duke, he designed the jerseys. So he has designed the jerseys for both teams that include some cool stuff, which you'll get to see this week. So all of everything happening. There will be a big ceremony before the game with the entire Williams family. Both teams will be out on the field. A lot of really cool stuff happening for a great cause. And this is something that the league has gotten behind, and obviously the FireWolves have gotten behind. But now a little bit more special because Dyson is a part of this FireWolves team, and Tucker meant so much to him as his younger brother.
And we'll point you to the FireWolves YouTube channel as well, where you can watch this new documentary. It just came out in the last week. It's called Dyson Williams, Life, Loss, Lacrosse on the FireWolves YouTube channel. You want to check that out before the game on Saturday night. Would be a good thing to do. Okay, we both like Ohio State.
Yes, we didn't talk about that.
If it is Notre Dame, who do you like? Nittany Lions or the Fighting Irish?
I'm going to go. I've never picked, I don't think, Notre Dame in a big spot. I'm going to pick Notre Dame.
Me too. They've got to hold on here against Georgia. We'll see how that goes. And then, yes, we could get.
You've got some money on a Notre Dame Ohio State National Championship game.
I do, yeah. And with that, we'll let them. They're not cheering for us, but we'll pretend like they are. And we'll say thanks for watching Honorado and Miller live from Common Roots Albany Outpost. Have a great weekend, everyone. Enjoy all that football and go to albanyfirewolves.com for tickets the rest of the season.